Good morning and welcome to Morning Movie News. Another day, another rumor. And it seems the worse or more ridiculous the rumor is, the faster it spreads. And yesterday, the rumor of the day was that Josh Gad, who voices Olaf in Frozen, is Fox's first choice, their ideal, their dream pick to play Ben Grimm, aka The Thing, in Josh Trank's Fantastic Four movie, which begins shooting very soon. And I guess that's why you're seeing a surge in rumors about that film. Just the other day I discussed a potential synopsis where they were reimagining it, where just Reed Richards and Ben Grimm get changed with powers first, and then Sue and Johnny join later on. That came out via a casting service, an audition service. Josh Trank took to Twitter and debunked that rumor. He rebuked it. He was like, "That's not the movie I'm making." But what's really horrifying is that he has not debunked the Josh Gad rumor. Now, maybe he just doesn't want to be mean to Josh Gad and be like, "Hell no, is that guy going to be in my movie? He would ruin it." And maybe he also is in the middle of trying to fight with the Fox executives to say, for the love of God, don't saddle me with this. You're going to kill this movie before it even starts. Because really, with all due respect to Josh Gad and his fans, his new fans, he has a ton of new fans thanks to Frozen. I don't think anybody on the face of the earth, maybe some kids, but I don't think anyone loves Frozen enough, who's also a comic book fan, to see Josh Gad move over into the Fantastic Four role of Ben Grimm. Sure, he's a big guy, but at the same time, he's supposed to be a really tough Brooklyn person. We're talking about someone that maybe, Michael Chiklis originated the role on screen, for the movies at least, for, the big screen. People were very happy with that choice, although, I think the idea of making him wear a rock suit instead of voicing a CGI character was a mistake. I don't think the mistake they'll make again. And then also, they were talking about maybe Bruce Willis doing the voice. So you're seeing that direction they're going in. And so that to run in the other direction with Josh Gad is ridiculous. Now, Josh Gad did take to Twitter and say that this is not true. But I think that the situation is that Josh Gad has not been told about it. I think the Fox executives are like, let's pitch him, let's think about it. And maybe, Josh Trank is in the middle of their offices, like on his hands and knees. I mean, it reminds me of that really famous Francis Ford Coppola Godfather story where they wanted to cast Robert Redford as Michael Corleone, and he went into like an epileptic fit in the middle of the offices, I believe at Paramount, because he was just, they were trying so hard to cast it the way they wanted to. And for instance, The Graduate, the studio wanted Doris Day instead of Anne Bancroft to play that role. Luckily, Doris Day thought it was a disgusting script, and they wanted Robert Redford instead of Dustin Hoffman. So you see, studios are always slow to change. They're the last to get it. Who turns down Dustin Hoffman and Al Pacino? They turned out to be two of the greatest actors of their generation, and then later over-actors. But still, if the studios had their way, these guys never would have gotten their chances. Robert Redford playing an Italian Michael Corleone. It's so ridiculous. All right, but here's another scary thing. This is a real tweet. The tweet comes from Jeremy Slater, who is the Fantastic Four screenwriter. And when he heard the Josh Gad rumor, he got all excited. I don't know if he was being a good soldier for Fox, but he then tweeted something that was really terrifying. He said, "My argument has always been that Ben is the closest thing that Marvel has to a Pixar character. You need an expressive, lovable voice." And then he followed up saying that you could always lower the voice in post-production. I think that the idea of Ben Grimm as a Pixar character is just really bad. And it shows just such a fundamental misunderstanding of the tortured soul that Ben Grimm is, and what he provides for the Fantastic Four, that I now have some major concerns for the script. I just think that's really surprising. And I feel bad for Josh Trank. I really liked Chronicle. I came to it very late in the game. I saw it on HBO, because I was like, everybody talks about this movie. I should see it. And I was really impressed. It was, I think, one of the few low-budget superhero films that worked. Had great talent in it, and that was a big part of it, the talent. And as you know, Michael B. Jordan and Dane DeHaan have gone on to great things. So I think that Josh Gad, he is at home in a Gilligan movie, maybe more Disney films, but I think that to take him over into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, or Fox's, I guess. Well, I guess in the Fox Marvel Cinematic Universe, this makes perfect sense because it's like bizarro world over there of the characters we love. All right, so that's the first story of the day. This rumor that's been debunked yet not debunked, and I think that we live, X-Men Days of Future Past is beginning to scare us, but I guess we'll have fantastic forecasting news soon to put it all in perspective. All right, so that's the first story. The second story of the day is a number. I've been putting a lot of pictures in Morning Movie News lately, a lot of visual things. Here's a look at the first look at the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This went up yesterday as well. A lot of you tweeted me about it and wrote me, asked me for my opinion, so wanted to cover it today. I've never been a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fan, or TMNT. I've never really gotten into them. I find the idea of turtles, they're just not lovable animals to me. I apologize, or reptiles, or whatever they are. I feel bad. Anyone who likes amphibious creatures, if you're a turtle lover, I don't know. I don't think anybody can really like this. I'm hoping this is just a really bad illustration. To me, I know that turtles have no noses, but when you put so first of all, how does a bandana even work on a turtle then? What would keep it up? I guess they have to tie it really tight around their head. Or as you can see from this illustration, they're kind of sagging down in the front. And it just looks like kind of like their face is melted. I understand they're like, people like realistic movies these days. We need to make the most realistic version of a human turtle possible. And I think that when you're having conversations like that, I think when it's a turtle that wears a bandana and has a ninja sword and is trained by a giant rat, I think that you need to just realize that you need to just get something that's visually appealing. I mean, I guess here are your Pixar characters. Although still, no. I mean, I guess the animated movie that came out a couple years ago was pretty good. I liked that. I thought that was pretty well done. But this stuff, I just really find this unappealing. I think they look really bad. They don't look fun. I mean, I guess they look kind of tough, but they really look like they've been injured, actually. I don't even want to go there because that's disrespectful to people who actually have been injured and disfigured, but there's just something about it that looks wrong. I don't understand. There's another picture here. You can see this one. I'll put this one up. I'm looking at it myself. This one, now they look kind of like hunched over almost. And they don't look like they really can move very fast. I don't know. They look like they have sweatshirts tied around their waists. I just feel that this is really, I don't know. Maybe Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle fans are like, these are the cool turtles we always wanted. But I can tell you, as a non-turtle fan, this isn't going to get me on the turtle bandwagon. So I'm curious what you guys think. Turtle fans, are you in? And non-turtle fans, are you still out? All right, so that's the second story. And Megan Fox is going to be in the middle of all that. So that's, I think, interesting. And I believe Will Arnett, too. I don't know. It's a Michael Bay produced film. All right, so that's the second story of the day. The third story of the day is an interesting one about The Conjuring, and they want to make a sequel. Now, of course, they're making a spin-off movie about that doll, that really creepy doll, who I thought was used to very good effect in The Conjuring. I don't know if I worry that they'll add a more traditional, I guess today's traditional horror spin on that kind of a film. I really liked The Conjuring. I thought it was one of the best horror films I've ever seen. I thought it was up there with The Shining. Very sophisticated. And well done, just good filmmaking. I was really impressed with James Wan. I think he ended his horror career on a good note. But the question that's come up, was that the end of his horror career? Vera Farmiga, who played Lorraine Warren, was being interviewed, and she said they really want to make The Conjuring 2. It's a Warner Brothers film. They're trying to move forward with it. They're hoping to wait on James Wan, who, of course, had his whole schedule pushed back with Fast 7 because of the tragic death of Paul Walker. But I think they're kind of hoping that if they wait around, maybe he'll come back to The Conjuring 2. My feeling is it's unlikely. I don't think he's going to go back to horror unless Fast 7 does not do well. I think that's extremely unlikely, particularly with Paul Walker's death hanging over the franchise. It'll be a chance, and maybe potentially not hanging over it. If done correctly, this will be a chance for fans of Paul Walker in the series to say goodbye to him and his character. And it will be a send-off because as it was revealed, Paul Walker's character, Brian O'Connor, will be allowed to live on in the Fast and Furious cinematic universe, just not on screen. So I think that's really going to be touching if handled correctly. So I think that he's just going to want to stay in his new venue. And I don't blame him. I think it would be really, a fallback. It's like Andrew Stanton wouldn't have made Finding Nemo 2 if John Carter, it should have been called Of Mars, but if just John Carter had done better. He had to go back to where he came from because he couldn't make it in the new field. But I think James Wan will make it. And I think it's important that he make it. Wes Craven has said that horror, I interviewed him for Cost of a Soul, and he said that horror is a great place for filmmakers to break in because it's so cheap, yet the films make so much money that you can really get the studio's attention. But as he said, then he followed up, it's hard to get out of it. And I think that a lot of filmmakers have found that to be the case, and I would really love to see James Wan prove that this is a pathway into Hollywood, not a dead end. We'll see if he can do it. I think he is the best candidate to prove that maybe you can do it. I think he seems to be a very good business person as well. But Warner Brothers, I guess maybe they're going to try and bribe him with a paycheck. But I'm curious to how you guys feel, James Wan's fans. He has a huge fan base. Do you want to see him go back to horror? Are you like, why did you leave, James? Or are you rooting for him to succeed as well in the action genre? Maybe he'll want to try drama, although Jason Reitman actually, interestingly, has tried drama after going with dry, dark, acerbic comedies for his career with Labor Day, and the buzz on Labor Day is that it's just horrible. So there's a career switch, and I think it's really he's gonna end up shooting himself in the foot. But I'm just curious how fans feel and how you guys feel. Or do you agree with me? Do you want Juan to move forward and keep climbing the Hollywood mountain, or do you think he should be content where he was at the very top of the field in the horror genre, perhaps even a new Wes Craven? And I think, I don't know, Scream was very good, but I think that was largely thanks to Kevin Williamson's screenplay. Wes Craven is a good horror director, but I think James Wan is even better. And because of that, perhaps that's what makes him deserve to break through. Maybe Wes Craven gave himself too much credit, because Cost of a Soul was horrible. I don't know if he just quit or it was just revealed that Wes Craven was always helped out by great scripts. All right, so those are the 3 stories of the day. The viewer question, I really liked this one. This comes from Eric Perry. And he says, hey, Grace, I have a question. Awesome. If you could, by the way, I'm just so pleased that so many people want to ask questions. I'm trying to get to as many as possible. I'm going to be going away in the second to last week of February or so, but I don't want there to not be any morning movie news. So it's going to be like 5 days of viewer question episodes. I'm going to film them in advance. So start getting your questions in. I'm starting to, log them away for the ones that will be contenders for those episodes. But that's 5 times 4, so that's 20 questions I'll be answering while I'm away. So I'm very excited about that. All right, so Eric Perry says, Eric Perry, you're getting your question answered today. If you could pick one thing you would wish you could change about Hollywood, one thing, what would it be? Oh, and thanks so much for working so hard. Smiley face. I love the smiley faces, as you guys know. Someone said I should give smiley faces to prove that it's me commenting. It's always me commenting. Nobody else has access to this account. If Beyond the Trailer writes to you, if I forget to sign my name, I'm trying to respond to more people, so sometimes I'm just going through very fast. It's always me. And I appreciate that. I'm really trying to make sure that morning movie news goes up on time and is a show everybody enjoys. So I really appreciate the kind words, Eric. All right, so as for your question, and I'm asking everybody else this as well, what's the one thing you would change? What is the domino that would affect the whole system and change everything for better? And I thought about it, and I would like to see more integrity in Hollywood. Basically more pride in their work. I feel a lot of times Hollywood has a really disdainful attitude towards the audience and is like, well, I think it's garbage, but I'm sure they'll love it. Or I don't get why this film did well, and instead of trying to figure it out, I'm just going to say people like crap. And that's not true. Nobody likes crap. There's always an element that was what caused people to like it. Even if it seems like for instance, I don't like Frozen and Gravity. I think they're bad films. But I can see, when they were successful, I didn't go, oh, people have lost their minds. I was like, okay, what about this movie is appealing to audiences? Same for Avatar, same for Titanic. And if you're someone who hates the Marvel movies, it doesn't help you just to go, DC is better and the world is unjust that my movies don't do as well as Marvel's. You really need to sit there and think, why are they doing better? I mean, Warner Brothers is certainly doing that. They're not really successful in figuring it out. But you really need, I think it's always important to, look at things head on and say, why did that work? And I wish the studio suits would do that. And as far as, pride in their work, they should really want to stand by every film that comes out. I mean, of course, sometimes mistakes are made. There's a misjudgment. Something seemed like a better idea during production than it did in post, and they were stuck with it. It was too expensive to change. Although look what they did with World War Z. They went back, reshot the last third of the film, and it was tremendously effective and created a huge hit and potentially a franchise. They're working on World War Z too, and they have J.A. Bayona directing, and I think he's really great. I think Mark Forster, by the way, was the mistake they made with that film. I think Mark Forster just cannot direct a blockbuster, because after Quantum of Solace and then messing up World War Z, I think it's pretty clear if anyone gives him a strike, allows him to have a strike 3, it's nobody's fault but their own. So I just feel that every Hollywood executive should be proud of what they put into theaters. They shouldn't just be chugging out crap being like, oh, audiences like it, the kids like it, teens like it, women like it. I don't get it. You have to get it. It's your job. So I think that would fix everything. If they just were like, you know what, I should be proud of the movies I put in theaters. And so I put that as integrity / pride in your work. I guess they're kind of the same thing. A studio executive shouldn't put out a movie that they wouldn't be willing to watch themselves. So that's what I think. I'm wondering what you guys would change. Write your thoughts down below. Thank you to everyone for tuning in. Write down below what you think of today's 3 top stories and the viewer question, and I'll see you tomorrow.